Want to save a truckload? Get a Peterbilt 579 from Brandt with payments as low as $3,500 a month. Get the same low rates for your choice of contract length, 3, 4, or 5 years, and you can buy or walk when the contract ends. It's the only payment plan that puts you in the driver's seat. You could say it's a big rig deal. Drive to your Brandt Peterbilt dealer to save a truckload while quantities last.
Blog Talk Radio.
Paranormal Radio, episode number 13 with Katie Boyd. Thank you for joining us. I just want to say hello to Katie, and she's brought along her co-worker and co-researcher Rebecca, and we also have our trusty sidekick and co-host Derek Frankham joining us as well.
How's it going, everybody?
Before we get into that, I just want to quickly point everybody's direction to the chat room there. I have all the vital links that are relevant to the show, starting with all the paranormal guys. You can go through those, but I wanted to put more emphasis on Katie's links. The main one, of course, is ancientwisdomnh.com. Check also, I put her MySpace profile page and ghostquest.org. If there's any that I've forgotten, Katie, if you want, I can put them on now.
No, I think you got it all.
Yeah, you got it.
All right. And is there an email address that people can send you emails if they have particular requests for research or a case that they might be experiencing?
Yes, it is. It's nhdemonologist@aol.com.
Okay, there we go. So I just want to say a quick hello as well to all the important groups that we're a part of. For one, the YouTube page that we have now public as well. All the published articles that I write are on that link. Facebook, of course, and all the MySpace friends that we have. But if we can, I'd like to bring you in now and welcome you to our show and say thanks so much for being a part of it. We extremely, extremely appreciate that. And how's your day going so far?
It's going really well. Thank you for having myself and Beckah on. We were really looking forward to it tonight. It's been pretty busy for us. In fact, right before I called in for the show, I did have some people calling me for potential demonic cases, so I've been busy.
That's awesome. It's good to be busy, that's for sure. You know,
yeah.
It really keeps you on your toes. And if I can, I can
sure.
also direct people to the article that I wrote about you. It's mostly your primary involvement in the beginnings, but how did you actually get into demonology and the occult? Was it something that you experienced? Because I know in your bio it says that you had a poltergeist and a haunted house. Was that the driving force behind your beginnings, or was there more to it than that?
That was the start of my path into the paranormal. Ever since I was really little, I think it basically started when I was about 5 years old, and I did grow up in a severe poltergeist activity home, and it kind of tore my family apart, and I didn't understand what was going on until about I was 18, and that was after some research when I went down into the library of the local town I lived in, and basically it's been like my path in life ever since. I got into the medical field, law enforcement, and still working into the paranormal. So it kind of made me into a well-rounded demonologist.
And how did you actually meet up with Beckah? Was that through your research, or was it just common interest? And what were your experiences?
Well, actually, I went into a metaphysical store that she was actually working in at the time, and that was about a little over 10 years ago. And we started talking, and then another person who actually ran the store, we were like, hey, let's put a paranormal group together. Both of you are psychic mediums. I'm a demonologist and an occult expert. So let's go and help people with hauntings.
On our own, since we had started our own individual paths, we had been helping people all along the way, between Katie, myself, and Raven, the third crew member. And, we thought that by bringing it all together, all of our experience, all of our knowledge, that we could really help, clients who are suffering from paranormal issues.
Yeah, and it's really good to have people like you out there, though, because who else do people really turn to, A lot of people, they might have these problems, they might be afraid to address them, or, they're kind of lost. They really don't know where to start for someone to help them,
Exactly. We come across a lot of paranormal groups that actually call Beckah and I, and we actually help out on their cases. We don't try to take over their cases. We just try to help them out, and because we want them, to get the notoriety and the credit for that.
It is their case. But,
right.
The thing of it is we try to act more like a resource for people.
Right.
And we are active in the paranormal. We do help our clients. And, a lot of research organizations, their main focus is the research. It's not, helping the spirit crossover or helping the client deal, strictly with the paranormal issue. They just want to certify the haunting. They just want to find out, is it really haunted? If it is, okay. If it's not, okay. And then they leave it at that.
That's one of the things that makes us, our group, and Beckah and I, a little different. I don't really know a whole lot of demonologists out there that are, number one, female, and number two, they're also occult experts.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And I actually wanted to get your side of the story, because a lot of people have a misconception between demonology and Satanism, and if you could, can you clear that up just from your point of view and your own personal research and experience?
Well, sure. Demonology basically is the study of, okay? It's the study of demons in different cultures, in folklore, legends, different religions. But Satanism doesn't have anything to do with demonology.
No. All that demonology really does, anybody out there can be a demonologist. All you have to do is study the folklore, study, the signs, the symbols, of a demonic entity, understand kind of how they work, but with Satanists, they worship to these entities.
Right.
With the demonologists, all they do is identify.
Yeah.
All they do is identify those entities.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
would you say that there's a psychology behind demonology, or is it strictly a physical science?
No, see, the thing is, what a lot of people don't understand, I know Beckah said anybody can be a demonologist, but it takes a long time to be able to consider yourself a demonologist. You have to know the medical, your medical background. You got to know what types of, over-the-counter drugs could be affecting that person, making it seem like they are possessed. There's a lot in the medical field. You've got to know the different types of diseases. I've come across, a lot of situations with people that had low blood sugar, and it literally, to an average person, would seem like this person is possessed. Full-blown, they're starring in the Exorcist movie Possessed, when all, in fact, they need is some insulin. And 15 minutes later, they're back to normal. And I've witnessed these things firsthand, even as a law enforcement officer.
Right.
So you got to know.
And let's go into detail about, too, when you are performing an exorcism, what kind of ritual and techniques do you use? Do you use the Bible, let's say, a cross, or is it more or less just enticing the demon or the spirit to leave the body?
Well, see, the thing is, different cultures deal with their demonic entities differently. Mm-hmm. You have the person in itself, they have free will. They can push that demonic entity out. Part of what I've seen or observed, when Katie's working on doing an exorcism, is that she's there in the capacity to strengthen that person's own will through using, religious artifacts that resonate with their belief. But the thing is when Katie, you asked if it was psychology, if it was a psychological science or a physical science, it's kind of both, because with Katie, one of the things that she'll do that not a lot of other demonologists do, a lot of them will bust in there reading scripture, and when you have somebody who could possibly have a mental illness, such as demon mania, which is actually in the codes for psychological, for psychologists, if you're sitting there reading scripture to them and they believe that they're demonically possessed, they'll react.
Right.
You can't bust in there saying, scripture or, reading from the Quran or anything like that. You have to be really kind of subversive with it.
Right. Exorcisms should be the very last thing on the list.
Right.
You need to rule. Not everything is going to be paranormal. Even if it's got maybe 10 signs, it could be potentially demonic. A lot of times, I'm called into these cases, and it's actually like somebody's loved one trying to just get a message across, or they know the family member is not feeling well, and then you also have the psychological issues, and the physical issues. There's a lot of things you have to rule out. Exorcisms, too many people I've noticed these days are jumping into getting an exorcism or trying to perform an exorcism. I think that should be the very last thing on the list, because you can't believe everything that somebody tells you. I've seen too many exorcisms where the person was actually, mentally ill.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, you're going to drive that person into a deeper
psychosis.
Exactly. And demonic possessions, demonic hauntings, they're rare. They're rare. Most of these cases you're going to come in contact with are going to be spirit.
Yeah. Well, if you can you define
that maybe demons are more attracted to certain people, like good or bad people, you could say?
Well, no, you have, the good energy out there. What you put in the universe is going to come back. If you're putting negative energy out into the world, that's all you're going to get. Yeah. Get back to you is that negative. You're going to have bad days. You're probably
bad string of luck.
Yeah.
But I don't think that demonic entities are attracted to any one type of person. Actually, I really don't think they are. I think it's a matter of invitation. More than anything else. It's like it's like somebody who's a medium and they're just starting out. If they don't know how to protect themselves, then they're open, like completely open to anything that wants to come through. Mm-hmm. And they can actually, if you think of it, they're kind of like a Ouija board. You don't mess around with a Ouija board if you don't know what you're doing.
And mind-altering drugs can do that also. They can leave you open like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask you that. I know there's an article I read. It's quite old now, but they were connecting demonic possession with alcoholism. And there was actually a great scene in Poltergeist 2 where the father's character, I forget his name, the actor that played him, but he consumed a large amount of alcohol, and then he ended up vomiting out this demon. And it turned out to be the old man that was after Caitlin. I don't know if you saw that movie, but how realistic is that?
Well, out of my, over 21 years, I've never seen that.
No, of course it's Hollywood, but it is a known fact that alcohol brings out the bad side of many people.
Well, see, the thing is, the thing is you have to remember, when you take a mind-altering drug, it literally puts you off your equilibrium. Mm-hmm. It puts you into a higher state. That's why a lot of ancient cultures used to use those mind-altering drugs to achieve that trance state and to achieve that place where they could receive, spiritual enlightenment. So what you're doing is when you're drinking too much alcohol or you're, smoking pot or, any other type of drug, you're opening yourself, again, like a Ouija board. You're putting yourself into that kind of like that other realm.
Now, the other thing, though, also, I've dealt with cases where there has been drug addicts who have stopped, and, like they went into rehab and they were clean, and they start thinking they are possessed. They have demons inside them. Then now they're moving to my brain, those type of cases.
Right.
And they're having
auditory hallucination.
Exactly. And that's just one of the side effects of, like doing the long-term drugs, things like that. But these are also things that demonologists, people in the paranormal, they need to look for.
Right, and I think that, one reason why a lot of people, go towards demonic entities, it must be demonic. I mean, even as Ghost Quest, we've gotten called in on so many cases where Katie gets all excited, it's demonic, and then we get there and it's not, and exactly. And we're kind of excited that she doesn't, she's not as busy, with actual demonic cases. But, the thing of it is I think that people have a tendency to lean towards demonic, one, because, as humans, a lot of times we go towards, the biggest negative thing, so that we can be prepared. And then, two, it gives you a sense of control. If it's mental illness, that's something that you have to deal with most likely the rest of your life, and you have really no control over it. But if it's demonic, you can get rid of it.
Right, and I had several cases where you were with me, Beck, and, it's sad to tell the family or the friends, listen, every aspect of the paranormal is ruled out. It's something medical, or psychological. And there's nothing I can do except, direct that person, to the right, the right type of care they need.
Yeah. I'm sure you had some real proof positive cases that probably really shook you up, though. Maybe they might not be high as a percentage as the other ones, like you're saying. They're pretty rare, but I'm sure you might have had a few of those.
I have, actually. And yes, they are rare. When they do happen, it is intense. That's why I work along with Beckah, because a lot of times with true demonic hauntings, there's a lot of spirits that are actually trapped, and the demonic uses those spirits to try to, kind of like, what's the word, not like they're little slaves.
They're like little slaves, I mean, they keep them under their thumb, just like they would with a person, because if a demonic entity can take more than one person's, life force, they're going to do that. It's all about the count.
And that's why, like when I wrote Devils in Demonology, I did incorporate Beckah because I work, 24/7 with her. And, I state, I don't leave home without her. If I'm doing a case, I do not leave home without her, because I have her back, and I know she's got my back. I take care of the darker side of the paranormal, and she takes care of the spirits.
Well, it's a lot better than going in alone, that's for sure.
It is.
A bit of backup,
It is.
Never hurts.
But let me tell you, even still, I do not like working on demonic cases in the least, You know, I deal mainly with spirits, man, but when you see a demonic entity inside of a person and you can see the difference, I mean, their eyes go dead. They go dead when they're possessed. When there's something like that going on, it's so intense. I don't like seeing that. It's not my favorite thing in the world. But, you know, it's so rewarding to see them come out of it. We had a case that wasn't technically a demonic case. It was a hungry spirit, though. Right. And in that case...
explain what a hungry spirit is.
A hungry spirit... Okay. A hungry spirit is a spirit in Japanese lore, typically in Buddhism and Taoism. Okay, right. And this woman, I forget, I don't think she was Japanese. I can't remember what nationality she was. But the case is in Katie's book. And, you know, Katie oftentimes carries what are called Solomon seals. And on this particular Solomon seal that she carried with her, which nobody else knew about at the time, had a scorpion on it. And it was used to help to control spirits. Anyway, so this girl, I mean, literally, she would buy rice the next day, there would be maggots, and it would be rotted. Oh. You know, a lot of times with hungry spirits, the thing of it is with hungry spirits, they want to live again. So, and they have an insatiable hunger and an insatiable thirst. So anyway, so we went in, and we had a psychic artist with us as a guest investigator on this investigation. And so we went in, and it was like thick. The minute you walked in, it was like walking through, you were hip deep in snow. And this poor girl, I mean, she was out of her mind. Just, she couldn't believe what was going on. And so Katie went through to exorcise the house of this entity, and the psychic artist was following around behind her. And the psychic artist, what she drew was this really cool mask, and coming out of the mouth of the mask was all these small scorpions, and they were all cleansing the house. And it was just so intense and so amazing, but at the same time, you know, so sad to see what this woman was going through. Anyway, so about a week or two afterwards, everything seemed to change around for her. She is now working for the FBI. Wow. You know, she's moved out. She's, you know, got an awesome boyfriend now. I mean, it's been a complete, you know, 180 in her life. And, you know, what we figured out was, you know, through time, and when we talked to her, we found out that this spirit, this entity, had been following the family for quite a while.
That's actually a perfect segue, because I wanted to ask you, this is somewhat related to that. Can demons possess through reincarnation, and obviously through you know, intergenerations as well? Is that a possibility?
Wow. I don't believe that, only because I've never actually come up with a case. You know, I've never dealt with a case like that. I believe spirits.
At least not through reincarnation.
No.
I do believe demonic entities can travel within a family.
Oh, absolutely. So
you know,
spirits.
Right, and stick with the family line. There is a phenomenon, though, known as walk-ins, where if somebody has a near-death experience, they come back as a completely different person. And that's often attributed to another spirit actually entering the body. We have had a couple of cases like that, where a woman's husband actually, you know, went in to go get heart surgery. He died. He came back, and he was completely different, didn't know who she was, left her, moved into another house, met another woman, you know, all this different stuff. And, you know, he kept calling himself by a different name. So, you know, I believe that, like I said, a lot of times, you know, spirits are confused with demonic entities. So I would believe that it would be more of a walk-in situation versus a demonic reincarnation.
Yeah, a lot of people get confused with demonic hauntings versus spirit hauntings.
Right.
You know, spirit hauntings, you know, let's say like the furniture. A spirit will kind of throw the furniture, knock the furniture over, try to throw smaller objects at you. A demonic entity will levitate the couch, levitate the couch. Suddenly the couch is gone. Where did it go? It's like sitting on your bed. You know what I mean? I mean, these things are typical with demonic hauntings. And that's why, like, in my book, I really, you know, I cover a lot, and I really try to make sure that, you know, people are getting, you know, everything, the truth about demonic entities, the truth about, you know, the demonic entities in different cultures, history of demonology and exorcisms, and how so many people die due to exorcisms, because in fact they weren't really possessed, with a demonic
entity. That's actually perfect too, because I know, I'm sure a lot of people that are interested in this field understand the connection between voodoo and Santa Maria. I'm wondering though, can curses towards a person open up a gateway, or do you think that that's strictly Hollywood again?
Oh, I totally believe in curses. And voodoo? Oh, yeah, I will not even, no. The mamas and the papas of voodoo, no way. Right. I totally respect them. I will not piss off a mama. and a mama is like, what, the highest of the voodoo women. No way.
Pretty much. But we've actually dealt with cases where people have been cursed by, voodoo high priestesses and what have you. And, the signs for that kind of things, especially when it comes to Santeria and voodoo, a lot of times it's going to go up through the nose. You'll see
explain what goes up through the nose.
The actual curse itself, the negative energy that's sent their way. The person will actually experience either the sensation or, they will physically see, this black thing go up their nose. It's the weirdest thing in the world, but it's real. And, one of the things that we found, especially in one of the cases, was the guy was in Arista. That's what it was. It was Arista. It was a form of voodoo. And he broke up with this woman, and this woman wanted to get back at him. And he went and started dating somebody else and what have you, and he thought everything was fine. And then all of a sudden, whenever he would touch her, all this stuff would start to happen. He would, get warts on his fingers. He would, feel dizzy and faint. He would pass out. It was all these different things, and it was because he had been cursed. So, I think that it's the intent of the energy, and it's it's always the intent behind it. That's what causes the curse to be real, is the amount.
Oh, yeah. I can actually confirm that in the previous Ouija board encounter, I actually did see a black mist. It didn't go up my nose, but I just happened to notice it floating away.
Oh.
And the handheld piece, it flew off the board.
Oh, my God.
So we've kind of had these experiences, and we've never touched it again, but a lot of strange things have happened, yeah.
Well,
electrical devices getting affected, TVs on and off. I'm sure you probably experienced those. Even dead air, like a phone call, and all of a sudden there's dead air. So nothing could be more freakier than that, yeah.
That is not uncommon. I'm just going to put this out there. If you're ever playing the Ouija board and you start to feel like it's being pulled from beneath and it'll start to drag, you stop immediately.
Yeah.
Stop immediately. That is a negative spirit or negative entity. You want nothing to do with that.
Exactly. It flew off the board. It was unreal. That was a long time ago, back in the teenage days, experimenting and just trying to find things out for yourself. But I learned quickly not to dabble in that stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's like when I was over at my friend's house when I was like 13 and I tried to contact Amelia Earhart. I did not contact Amelia Earhart, let me tell you.
Exactly. You never know who's behind there.
Exactly.
If you're going to contact anybody, damn it, I want it to be Elvis.
Exactly.
Damn it. I love Elvis.
Let me ask you,
still alive. You don't know.
What's your opinion on shadow people? Do you feel shadow people is like an entirely separate entity altogether, or could they be classified as demons as well?
Well, I don't know for Beckah, but I know for me, shadow people. I always see shadow people, but to me, I feel it's just a spirit who's passing through.
Right.
Yeah. Some people will consider them very negative. I've never had a negative encounter with a shadow person. What about you, Beck?
Here's the thing: is that with shadow people, it could be spirit. It could also be what we call a negative thought form. A lot of times, negative thought forms, what they are is it's a buildup of all the crap. Okay, you've been depressed, you've been having a lot of arguments, you've been having all these negative feelings going around, that energy is going to build up. And what will happen is sometimes it will manifest in a way to scare you, to keep you in kind of that fear or that depressed state. So, it could be a shadow person is actually a collection of negative energy, not necessarily a demonic entity or a spirit. I do know a lot of people talk about seeing... Right. I know a lot of people do talk about seeing, that black figure walking down the hallway. A lot of times that is spirit.
Yeah.
Let me ask you too. Besides Satan, what are the most known demons that a person that is not very much, knowledgeable in the whole genre can look up and start to investigate for themselves?
Well, I don't suggest anybody actually going out and trying to find a demonic entity.
No, I mean just not find, but more or less read upon and educate themselves with material.
Yeah. To know that they're excellent at experience that,
See, all they have to do is buy my book, because I actually cover certain demonic entities in my book. But
there we go.
The most common, what you see on certain, shows on TV, everybody's afraid to say, like, Baal, and certain entities like that. Now, honestly, with a demonic haunting, you are going to encounter lower demonic entities. I'm telling you that right now. Okay.
Yeah, understood. Yeah.
I don't know about you, but Lucifer's like hanging out on the beach and he's retired. Okay. I mean, I can't even handle watching these shows and everybody's saying, "Don't say his name, don't say his name." You know what I mean? But actually, a lot of people don't understand. But Baal used to be a pagan god of what was it? Vegetation. Okay. So through you have to remember, if like people should actually, before they start, running out of the house, screaming Baals in my home, they need to educate themselves on the history, because through the years, actually, like with the church, certain things like that, they actually kind of
demonized a lot of the pagan gods.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, it was for fear mongering. That's all. That was.
Exactly.
Exactly. But it's rare, like I said, about a demonic entity, a true demonic entity case. But those are going to be lower demonic entities.
Well, here's a question too. With the increase in population, we're at over 6 billion now. Is there a possibility for just as many demons, or like how does it work? Would you say is it 1 to every million, or 1 to every 100 million, like in ratio to humans?
Oh lordy, ratios. I'd probably say 1 in every million. 1 in every million, I think, is probably a good bet, or 1 in every 2 million. I mean, it's so rare. To give you an example, Katie has been doing the demonology thing for, 20 years now? Over 21, almost 21 or over 21 years.
Yeah.
You've had how many demonology cases that are really real?
5.
Okay, and
5.
Yeah, and she's done hundreds of,
Oh, wait, with Ghost Quest alone, we've done over 400 cases, okay? That's over 400 cases, okay? In my entire career, 5 were demonic, were true demonic cases. Thank God they weren't, to the point where, the person's head was spinning, because you don't ever want it to be that,
that bad.
Yeah. But that does happen.
I just always wonder what makes a spirit stronger than another, though. They're very rare. Maybe thank God it's a rare thing. It's just kind of strange that way. Is it because they're that evil, or?
Well, if you think of it this way, okay? Albert Einstein said the world is binary, okay? Because it's binary, there is duality and polarity. So where there is ultimate good, there must be ultimate evil, okay? Now, both of these are just energies. Okay, the evil or negative energy is meant to cause chaos. All right? Now, what you have to remember is this is an energy that is continuous. Okay? There is never a lacking of this energy because there's never a lacking of the good energy. So these guys, unlike regular human spirits, have basically an unlimited battery. Okay? So this allows them to do more than, say, the average spirit.
And you have to remember right now in the society and paranormal, demonics are like the hot thing.
They're the focus. So the more you put the focus on it, the more belief there's going to be behind it.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to intent.
Right.
I believe mass consciousness, positive affirmation as well as negative affirmation. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you even, there's so many websites all about, demonic entities, different types. I mean, the most common is, like your Catholic demons.
Oh, I don't think they're the most common. I think they're the most well-known.
Well, right, that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? I mean, everybody, if they Google, Baal, it's under every Catholic, website, but it is like the in thing, And one of the things I need to say, though, I notice one of the in things is people claiming to be demonologists. There aren't many real demonologists out there. There are some,
even in the church as well, I'd say. Like, not many people have really experienced it, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I have a cousin who is a priest, and I grew up. My mom's one of her best friends was the local priest. And he used to come and actually bless our house a lot. It didn't really work, but he was a good guy. He was. But there's a lot of people out there I noticed that are claiming to be demonologists. They're charging these people, not all demonologists, not probably the demonologists that we know, but they're starting to charge people, the people that are claiming to be demonologists who don't actually have an education or background and has never trained to be a demonologist.
Yeah.
And they're charging these people for phone consultations like $250 to $1,000, and all the demonologists that I know, and that we don't charge. We'll charge if it's in California and you need me to go out there. Sure, you need to buy my plane ticket.
That's understandable, exactly.
Yeah, exactly, my travel expense, but
exactly.
I don't comprehend that, and that's something people need to be aware of.
The other thing is
borderline fraud, basically borderline fraud in that sense.
It is.
To people, it's kind of sad, but it does happen. Yeah.
Exactly, and it's like if you ever meet an exorcist who says, "I have exorcised over 500 people," run the other way.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not,
I really
run
appreciate
the other way.
I really appreciate how honest you're being with the truth behind it all, because there are a lot of shysters out there, and that's for sure. So just have the public be more open-minded and more aware of being taken for a ride.
And do some background checking on these people, that are claiming to be demonologists. I've run across several demonologists out there that don't have any type of background, and they're actually calling me because they don't know what to do. And I'm like, what do you mean you're calling yourself a demonologist then? You should just be a paranormal investigator. I'm not talking about, demonologists out there, that I highly respect, Ed Warren, who's passed. I mean, he was wonderful. John Zappis. I highly respect, like, Bishop James Long.
Father Malachi Martin, even.
I haven't had a chance to actually talk to him.
Yeah, he's deceased now, but he was a big thing on Coast to Coast AM for years. Yeah, really high up there in the church, and he was open to actually speak about it. You can call him a rebel in that sense, but it's those other ones that you need to kind of
keep an eye out for, exactly. It's because what they do really is bring down paranormal research, credible research such as yourself and many other people.
It makes
down
me
to the tarot card kind of carnival, joke, and that's not what we want to have happen at all.
No.
Right. Well, just to let you know, you have tarot readers and you have psychic mediums like Beckah who reads tarot readers too.
I read tarot cards, so watch it with that. But no.
No, we know what you mean though. Not like your beach, tarot readers.
Yeah, exactly.
Versus,
those people that pop up at coffee shops like out of the blue,
Yeah.
But no, how about a topic of discussion that's a little bit on the different side, but there's a kind of phenomenon that happens to some people. It's called psychic vampires. Could they be classed as like living demons in some ways, because they have the ability to sort of take over a person and have them almost do their own will? Or is that strictly just a form of mind control?
Or drain their energy as well.
Well,
just
right.
Terrible around them.
With psychic vampires, I've seen them at work, and you get some who can do it on command and on will, and who have control of it, and you get others who don't. You know, a psychic vampire, that's that person that you're sitting with on the couch and all of a sudden you start to feel tired, you know, and out of it. You know, but the thing is I wouldn't classify them as living demons. A lot of what they do is more subjective, you know, than it is full-blown mind control and body control. A lot of times what they do is they have people around them, when they're using it in a darker way, they have people around them who want to be needed or have a need to be needed. And so they'll collect those types of personalities around them, and then using, you know, subjective measures, you know, they'll actually implant thoughts and implant, you know, ideas and objectives and things for them to do. So I wouldn't say that they're full-blown mind control, you know, in a metaphysical or paranormal sense. I would say that, you know, it's more, how do I put it? I hate to say like a magician's trick, but, you know, more in a hypnotist type of way.
Or psychic suggestion, possibly, even psychic suggestion, if you believe that.
Exactly.
I've had it happen a few times, just weird coincidences. You know, someone will take the words right out of my mouth. I don't know. It could be coincidence, but, you know, it's kind of strange.
Everybody's gifted, though. Everybody has an ability. You know, it's how they work at it and how much, you know, they decide to use it and train with it that kind of, you know, is telling. You know, some people, they just pick up on things. Like you said, you know, you've had a couple of coincidences or a couple of times where people just take the words right out of your mouth.
Yeah,
you know,
whether the other day, 2 days ago, actually. The second time it's happened in like 6 months, so it's kind of weird.
Right, and it's like, you know,
they're on the same wavelength.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it makes sense.
It could be they're just hooked into your energy, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm sorry, I just wanted to ask if that's what occult leaders seem to be able to do to mass amounts of people all at once, that form of psychic control.
It kind of, yeah. Yeah, a lot of times it's a lot like that. But again, you have to remember, they get those people around them that I need to be needed. They get the outcasts, the ones that want the approval and want the, you know, love. That's the ones they bring around them.
Well,
you
it's
know?
like the Jim Jones. How did he actually get all those people to commit suicide?
Yeah.
You know, he broke down their will. He kind of made them, you know, believe in everything he was saying. He gave them a purpose. He made them feel needed.
And in that way, I guess he could be considered a living demonic entity. You know, he does have that same type of temperament.
They're you know, when I worked for a state prison for years, okay, and it was kind of funny because I used to tell Beckah, well, you know, I work with demons during the day and I work with demons at night. You know,
24/7.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, you're going to meet people out there, and we all have, that are evil. They're just evil to the core. You know, and some people would definitely, you know what, you're a living, walking demon. You know, but they're not really a demonic entity. They're just an evil person. You know, it would be like Hitler. You know, he was evil. Some consider him demon. You know.
I know on your MySpace page, you say that you're trying to implement 11th to 13th century occult literature into your studies. How's that going?
Oh, I love anything with 13th century. I collect rare occult items, and I actually sometimes make them.
Cool. Let me tell you, that's led to a few really interesting experiences.
I actually made a bell, and I actually don't tell a lot of people this, but I made a bell that John D. had once made. I just didn't do the final step, okay, but I can't tell you because if anybody looks it up, then they're going to try to do it. So I can't tell you that very last step, which is a very easy step anyway. But, you know, you had to find like a servant's bell and certain things that you had to engrave on it. And I have a fascination with it. I love it.
Yeah, I mean,
reincarnated from that era. Who
knows,
absolutely.
Right? I listen, okay.
It's very possible. I do believe in that.
Antique shops, I'm telling you, if they have medieval stuff in there, you know,
she's there.
I'm all over that.
There's a massive occult shop just stepping distance away from my house here in Toronto, and they have quite a few relic knives and artifacts and stuff. You would probably be in heaven in there.
I would stop you ever drooling.
Yeah. Well, I also wanted to tie in too, because of the Illuminati's creation was around that quite a while ago, and a lot of people think that they're an occult and that they incorporate demon worship or Satanism. Have you looked into the Illuminati at all, or is that something that you're just not interested in?
Okay, well, first, let's just clarify, so people understand what occult really means. All it really means is hidden knowledge. Even in medicine, they have what they call occult tumors, and that means a hidden tumor. It's one that you can't see in a CAT scan or you can't see in the x-rays. So, when you have a priest that pulls out the ritual of exorcism, that's an occult book. It's one that, it's hidden knowledge, the main people can't see.
That's where I get a lot of slack from, because people don't understand occultism.
Right.
What do you mean you're a demonologist and you're an occult expert? What?
Right, that's evil. You can't be both at once.
Open your minds. It's like,
exactly.
But with secret societies, I mean, people just, because they're secret, so they just assume that they're like this cult. I actually, I know a lot of people that are in secret societies, and they're the most wonderful, wonderful people you could ever meet. They're not worshiping the devil. They're not sacrificing people or animals, because I'm a big animal person, you know what I mean? And I will kick anybody's butt if I find out they're doing anything like that. But in those higher secret societies, it's more or less they're blending a lot of the older religions together.
The older pagan religions, or...
Exactly. They kind of mix in... I'm not saying every single secret society does this, but there are some out there that kind of mix a little bit of Egypt, like
Egyptian,
Egyptian magic with a little blending of some of the older Sumerian.
Right, and one of the things that you have to remember is with the Illuminati way back when, again, it's another secret society that I think has been kind of demonized, and a lot of it is because around the time that the Illuminati was there, Christian and Catholic religions were at an all-time high, okay? And here's a bunch of guys getting together, and they're saying, you know what, we want to study the metaphysical sciences, okay? When you get, the Vatican, I mean, these guys were kind of high profile, too, so when you get the Vatican involved in a thing like that, and they're all of a sudden seeing these guys, and they're holding secret meetings about, astrology and, psychic development and ancient pagan ritual and all this other stuff, I mean, they're gonna demonize it to all heck. They're gonna persecute. So, I think that's the essence of it. There, I think it's kind of turned into a legend now.
I think a lot of the secret societies are blown out of proportion.
Definitely.
That's a good point. And also too, there obviously would be people that would take it to the next level, but not all of their followers would participate in that kind of behavior. So
exactly.
Yeah, you're gonna have that in any career. And, you're going to have a good cop, you're going to have a bad cop, you know what I mean? You're going to have a good doctor, a bad doctor. It doesn't matter. There's going to be good people and there's going to be bad people in these...
I'm having a bit of a...
Hello?
Oh, hello.
Oh, no. I think this happened last show. Hello?
Hello.
I think Jay just got cut off there for whatever reason. It actually happened last show.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, there's always some strange thing that happens to us, eh? Maybe someone doesn't like us. I don't know. We got two friendly people on the phone here,
Well, listen, you got the best of the best here with you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we're targets. No, but
I have relatives in Nova Scotia. I'll be right there.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Well, I have a lot of good East Coast friends, so that's incredible.
We'll meet
very
you halfway.
friendly people, good people, heart of the earth,
Mhm.
But I'm sure he's going to call back in if it's at all possible. But if not, we can still go with the flow from here, and
Yeah. He's probably like, what the hell? I can't get through.
I got kicked off my own show.
Oh, exactly. I'm sure he will call back in though. If it's possible.
Oh, yeah. But, as we were saying, I think the secret society thing, it's overblown. People are afraid of what they don't know. I mean, it's one of the 5 psychological fears is the unknown, So, to sit there and have this big society, this big conglomeration of people, and they don't know what's going on inside.
Yeah.
You know, again, you have to remember the human mind. We go to the absolute worst. You know, to less evil.
I'm back. I apologize for that.
You're back. Right on.
I had a little bit of issues with my phone, but it's all cleared up. I apologize.
Oh, no problem.
I knew you'd be back. I knew you'd be back.
Yeah, we have one issue per show, so again, you know, got that out of the way.
There you go.
But I hope I didn't miss anything that was like off the wall or anything like that.
No, I don't think so. No.
We were just worried about you.
We were, but
you're okay there, you know?
Yeah, I'm okay. I didn't fall off my chair or nothing.
Or a demonic possession of the phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows?
But let me get your. Is there such a thing as interdimensional demons?
Well,
I think.
Oh, go ahead. You go first.
Okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
You know, I think that interdimensional demons. Wow. I think there's trans-dimensional demons, and therefore I guess there could be interdimensional demons. You know, I don't think that they're stuck to any one realm or any one, you know, space. So yeah, I think there could be interdimensional demons.
And do you think that
portals?
Yeah, there must be portals all throughout the earth.
Yeah.
But do you think that the occult is actually growing or decreasing in recent times compared to the past?
Oh, increasing.
I think it's getting more out there.
It's getting more mainstream.
Exactly. It's kind of like, you know, with witchcraft.
Right.
Okay. More people are coming out. More people are practicing, praying to the goddess and to the god. They're, you know, celebrating the pagan holidays more. You're going to see more, you know, witchcraft books out there.
You know, but I think that occultism in general, I mean, every religion is in itself some form of occult.
Mm-hmm.
Even Christians have their own form of magic with their faith healings. You know,
they drink the wine, they light the candles.
They do ritual.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so...
we spoke with Joel and Valerie, a well-known Wiccan, and we went into detail about, you know, the misconceptions with the actual pentagram, you know, and that's,
that's
one of the bad names that always gets placed on demonology and Satanism is the use of that symbol. But if people do the research, they'll see that it's not that bad.
No, all it means is the 5 elements and the spirit.
Exactly.
You know, it's not.
It's kind of like, you know, with my book. If you know somebody reads the cover, you know, Devils and Demonology in the 21st Century, they're going to assume, you know, that, oh my God, that has to do with like
Satanism.
Yeah. What is it?
Exactly.
You know, it's a new Satanism book, and it's not actually. It covers so much of the paranormal. It covers all, you know, thought forms, history, prayers, you know, certain tools. There's even a chapter on how to join paranormal groups, what to look for, what to ask. I even put my evaluation, some of the questions, what to ask.
Here's a question. What would be the absolute case that would make you never want to research this ever again? Or have you seen and been through it all that you're not even worried about that anymore?
You know what's funny is she can sit there toe-to-toe with a demon and not have an issue.
Yeah.
But if you put her in a haunted house and she sees a spirit, she'll jump like 5 feet in the air.
Every person has their own fear level.
Yeah,
you know.
Well,
I totally respect that.
I'm not afraid of them. You know, we've done so many cases, and sometimes some don't quite make themselves apparent, and some you turn around and
there they are.
Quickly, there is somebody right there, and you don't expect it, even though you're expecting it, but when it's in front of you, you're like, huh? But
like a shock factor, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
They scare you, man.
So
they seem to like to do that a lot.
I have jumped back before and knocked a crew member over because I wasn't expecting to see some native guy, you know, crunch down in the bush on the side. You know, so that did startle me, you know, even though it was an abandoned town, and there was a lot of natives there, you know, but I did knock the crew member back a little. But I stayed right there. I didn't run away, which I would never run away anyway, but I did get startled.
Yeah,
you did.
Yeah, that, and if you know, spiders I'm not very fond of. And if there's spiders, yeah, you're on your own.
here's a side note. Some people feel that aliens and UFOs are actually vehicles of demons. What's your take on that? Do you believe that?
No. No, I don't believe in that at all. You know, I have a totally, you know. Okay. We're just going to back this family bus up just a little.
Yeah.
You know, like Dan
Brown?
No.
Who?
The guy I like that.
Which one?
Vonnegut.
Oh, Eric Von Daniken.
Eric Dan. I don't know.
Yeah, Eric Von Daniken. Yeah. I read a lot of his books growing up. Incredible.
Oh my God, I have some of his antique books. I worship him. Okay.
Oh, I got one from my uncles, like one of the original prints too. I'll have it to this day. Oh, I love it.
Oh, listen, I believe what he's talking about.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense. Really.
Absolutely. They were here way before us. You know, I do believe there were some visitors. They did teach our ancestors, you know, how to build, you know, how to be a little more
productive. Yeah.
Exactly.
Give us a little push.
Exactly. But now listen, with the aliens, you're going to have to remember it's just like humans. Mm-hmm. You're going to have your good ones, and you're going to have your bad ones, you know.
Yeah.
Some people don't even believe in it. They're like, nah. Everybody has their thoughts and opinions on it.
Yes.
I do, you know, kind of like that movie, The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
That's pretty, you know what I mean? That could happen. I believe that could happen. You know, we're messing around with the planet. Why not? I kind of feel they kind of built it, you know?
Yeah.
It's true.
Well, I always envision this kind of scenario that, you know, when you're a child and they get you to grow a plant in that little styrofoam cup, that's the way the Earth is. They are us growing a plant, except we're at a global level, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
exactly. I could totally see that.
But you're going to have your not-so-nice ones, too. That's right.
It's just the way the universe is, you know, as you just said before, that there's a balance, and you need yin and yang to coexist. But I also wanted to touch briefly as well. You have 3 books that you're working on. How's that going?
God, I do. You don't even know. Oh, my God. I mean, I'm actually... I have a book that's due actually August 1st, and I got to get my butt in gear because I'm kind of halfway through that one. That one's kind of based on like the Boogeyman.
Right.
That's pretty cool. I do incorporate a lot of, you know, some cases, a lot of cool things. I can't tell you everything because it's a really cool book. Also, I'm doing kind of a companion to my Devils and Demonology book. Which is kind of funny because we were talking about witchcraft, but it's witches and witchcraft in the 21st century, which it's kind of formatted like my Devils and Demonology. And,
right. What's cool is she's going into the different branches of paganism on that. And
but I did just do one. The publisher did ask me to write a book about Rhode Island, so spooky ghosts and creepy legends of Rhode Island. That was pretty. Rhode Island
definitely
is
are busy, as you were saying in the beginning of the show. Multifaceted beyond belief. It definitely keeps everyone on their toes, and we're down to our last 2 minutes already. I can't believe how fast.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Yeah, it's been such a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah,
and I just wanted to get everyone's attention again to the chat room, and please visit her website and pick up her book. Where can people pick it up? On Amazon?
Anywhere, any bookstores, Amazon.com, any online bookstores also.
And are there any movies in the future for you, or is that an area that you might not want to touch?
Oh, listen, okay. Beckah and I were doing a new show, actually called Supernatural Hotspots. And you can actually check that out at supernaturalhotspots.com.
Awesome.
That's a side project.
I can't thank you enough for being on the show. You've both been quite a delight. And at any time, if you'd like to do a second show and talk about other areas that we haven't had a chance to reach, definitely give me a shout and we'll get that together.
Oh,
okay,
definitely.
No
this
problem.
was great.
Yeah.
This was absolutely fun.
Very natural flow with you guys. It was amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You have yourself a great night, and we'll see you soon.
All right. You too. Bye.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us, and have yourself a great night. This is episode 13 again. Check out our Facebook group. All our event pages are there for the upcoming shows. And if you get a chance, check out all the articles again on Now Public. They're usually a new article a day or every other day at least. Thanks for joining us. Have yourself a great night.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.